were on that 4-game losing streak, and that could have potentially been stopped if not for that really curious call by Doug Pederson to go for 2 points instead of playing for overtime against the Ravens, as we saw on Sunday. What was your reaction to that call?
You know, Alexa, it's interesting. You call it curious, and I think a lot of people outside of Philadelphia might think that way. Within the city, a lot of people, or the majority of people, have been saying that they supported Doug's position on going for 2 in that situation, trying to win the game right there. It was not surprising to see him do that. He's been doing that a lot this season, going for it on 4th down. They had gone for 2 earlier in that game, in part because of the weather conditions. It was very windy. There was some rain. It made, kicking and snapping a bit perilous. And I think that's kind of who Doug is or is trying to be, a guy who, is daring and goes for it in those situations. And, if you think about it from like a strategic standpoint, if they kick the extra point there, then you go to overtime and you've got to drive the ball all the way down the field to either get a field goal or a touchdown, and then possibly have to hold the Ravens as well. So I think, Doug looked at it and said, hey, we're already at the 2-yard line. If we get in the end zone here, we win it. Let's go for it. And, it didn't work out, but I think people in Philadelphia and on that team can live with it.
Okay, sounds like you're okay with that. But we saw at the end, the loss eliminated the Eagles from the playoff race, and I don't know how the fans, you probably have a better handle on that, which is why we have you here, as far as what the fans are thinking regarding the season as a whole. I know it's his first season, but if they're already on his case now, and if things maybe even go bad at the start of next season, what are we talking about as far as Doug Pederson's future with this team?
Yeah, it's a really interesting and complex question, Michael. I think the 3-0 start in a lot of ways may have been the worst thing that ever happened to the Eagles and to Doug Pederson, because it immediately raised expectations that this could be a playoff team and could kind of come out of nowhere and make a run. And I think the other complicating factor is that the Eagles throughout the offseason were never really clear, even to themselves, about what the season was supposed to be about. They fired Chip Kelly and they re-signed Sam Bradford for big money, and Jeffrey Lurie says, hey, we should be a playoff team with this talent. And then they go and make 2 big trades that allow them to draft Carson Wentz, but they're still going to start Sam Bradford. And then Teddy Bridgewater gets hurt, so they trade Sam Bradford, and now Carson Wentz is the quarterback. And then they get off to a 3-0 start, but they're still rebuilding because they're not very good. It's very strange. I really think that they're going to make a big push this coming off season to try to add some weapons, either in free agency or the draft, shore up some areas that need shoring up, wide receiver, cornerback, places like that. And if there isn't a major turnaround next year, it would not surprise me if 2 years were all Doug Pederson got as the Eagles head coach.